Hey guys, so I'm back again to do my 7th and final Neil Young vinyl collection. I guess I didn't mean to stretch it out this long, but I could pontificate for hours about Neil, so this is nothing. It's also kind of a momentous occasion for me. I got in the mail Living with War in the beginning, or Living with War Raw, the last album I needed to complete my collection. So I can now officially say I have them all. So yeah, I mean it's really took a long time to get all these records, and it really is just a labor of love. I mean, to get all of them, there's so many. So and some of them are so hard to find. But there you go. You could tack that on actually to my last video. Um, Neil made Living with War, and then about a year later or so he put this out, and it's the same album, but without the chorus and the trumpet player, things like that. So it's the same songs, just in their more raw form. So there you go. So now I'll show my CSNY stuff. Around 1969, I think, Neil was approached to join Stephen Stills' basically new supergroup, which was, Stephen Stills, David Crosby, and Graham Nash. And they wanted him to be a sideman to play keyboards on the tour and play guitar. But Neil said no, not unless his name was tacked on. So they became CSNY, and they put out Deja Vu, which is really, I got 2 of these. Just a classic album. I mean, you got Almost Cut My Hair, Helpless, Carry On, Teach Your Children, Country Girl. Just a great album. I like this one a lot. Probably Crosby, Stills and Nash's best album as well. Also an essential, I think, for just about any record collector. So there you go. And then they put out a live album, which was CSNY's 4-Way Street. I got 2 of these as well. One of them's a little run down, but decent live album. One record's acoustic, the other one's electric. And they each do solo sets. Neil does On the Way Home, Don't Let It Bring You Down, Cowgirl in the Sand. And they also do an extended, long, jammy version of Southern Man. So just for that stuff alone, this is worth it, I think. But there you go. And then that was kind of it. Until 1974, they got back together. And they did a huge tour. I think it was like the biggest tour to date. And I think Bill Graham produced it. And they toured behind a greatest hits package, which was so far. It's a good introduction to CSNY. I love that artwork too. That Joni Mitchell drew that. And you got Deja Vu, Helplessly Hoping, Wooden Ships, Teach Your Children, Ohio, Find the Cost of Freedom, Woodstock, Our House, Helpless, Guinevere, Sweet Judy Blue Eyes. So there you go, like the greatest hits so far. And then that was it until the late 80s. They got back together again and they did an album, which I showed in another video, American Dream. Not a good album. I talked about this before, but there you go. Very 80s production, and certain members were just a mess. So there you go. And then that was it until 1999. They got back together again, and they did an album and a tour. CSNY's Looking Forward. And this is basically Neil taking over the group. They got back together on his terms. They used his, Ben Keith produced this. I'm sure it was his players. It's like a Neil album, but with Crosby, Stills and Nash, and some of their songs too. Not a bad album. I like the production on this for some reason. It sounds different from other ones from this period. You got for Neil Looking Forward, Slowpoke, Out of Control. Just pretty decent album by them. And also another hard to find one too. This came out in 1999, and they did the CSNY 2K tour, which I saw, and it was like a marathon concert. I mean, it was like 3.5 hours or something. It was ridiculous, but it was really cool. I saw them 2 other times since then, and the first one was definitely the best show. But there you go. And then you have the most recent one, which I showed as well, CSNY's Deja Vu. It's a soundtrack to the documentary that Neil did, Deja Vu. It's very interesting. I recommend it. It's very political. It's about the Iraq War and the tour that they did, again, during the Living with War period. So, there you go. After Neil put out Decade, he started talking about Decade 2. He talked about it for years and years. Neil's the kind of guy where he has whole albums and hundreds of songs, they say, that are in his archives that he wrote, recorded, never released. So they just sit on a shelf, and he started talking about releasing some of that stuff. And what was going to be Decade 2, another compilation, morphed into his archives project, which is, here's the first installment of it, Neil Young Archives Volume 1. I mean, if you're into music, I'm sure you've heard about this set. Unbelievable set. 10 discs. One's a movie, and this is just the first 10 years of his career. He intends on putting like 5 or 6 of these boxes out. I mean, this is expensive. It's not CDs. You could get it on CD, but this is, he put it out on Blu-ray and on DVD. It's an interactive thing. The music's on there, and the quality of it is pretty good. You know, it's not vinyl, but the quality of it's just awesome. And it's interactive. You look at photographs, read articles. There's film clips. There's hidden things. There's all kinds of things. And so it's not like just putting on an album. You could watch it on a computer or on your television, and if you got a good system, it's definitely pretty cool. I was really excited when this came out. So the concept is, once all 6 of these boxes, or 5 of them, are put out, they'll look like this. They'll spell out Neil. But anyway, all the discs are housed in here. I won't pull them all out, but yeah, it's just his whole career, the first 10 years. It also comes with a poster, which I'm not going to pull out, but and a book, which is like a journal that Neil kept, but it's full of pictures and lyrics and all kinds of things. And there's a listing of all the songs here. All the highlighted ones are actually what ended up on the box. But yeah, what a set. I mean, to me, I think it's worth it. It's not like I sit and listen to this thing all the time, but just to have it. And I'm really looking forward to Volume 2. Unbelievable, which is due out, I think, 2012, I believe. In addition to the archive set, though, Neil put out his, first of all, there's this official release series, which is his albums remastered and re-released. And there's also the Neil Young Performance Series albums. High quality vinyl stuff. I mean, great stuff. Just here, I'll just show you. There's the first album, and the quality of this is just unbelievable. It just sounds so good. The pressing is just done in Palace in Germany, and this just sounds unbelievable. It blows the originals out of the water. I cannot say how good these are, but they're unbelievable. So here's the first one, Neil Young, his first record. These are not the ones I showed on the first video. These are their reissues. Again, don't ask me why I'm doing them in this order, but Neil Young, everybody knows this is Nowhere, Crazy Horse. Unbelievable. After the Gold Rush. Fantastic stuff, really. When I got these and listened to them, I was just blown away, really. Harvest, And this one actually costs a little bit more because of the textured cover. They really spared no expense. It's just like the original, only better. So there you go. And he also put out his performance series, which I'll run through those quick. I believe the first one that came out was Neil Young, Crazy Horse, live at the Fillmore. Great live album, early Crazy Horse with Danny Whitten. Everybody knows This Is Nowhere, Winter Long, Down by the River, Wandering, Come On Baby, Let's Go Downtown, which is a Danny Whitten song. This song is also on Tonight's Tonight, but Neil for Tonight's Tonight cut it up. This is the same version, but uncut. And Cowgirl in the Sand. Just a great, jammy, live album. Fantastic. Again, just beautiful how well these things were pressed. It was just unbelievable. They sound phenomenal. And there's Neil Young live at Massey Hall. This is just, again, phenomenal. Great acoustic album by Neil. Instead of Harvest, this was supposed to come out, but Neil cut Harvest and wanted to put Harvest out, so this got shelved. And his producer, David Briggs, was really unhappy about that. They didn't speak for a while over this, but what a great live album. I mean, there's a lot of songs on here, but great album from that period, 1971. So there you go. I can't recommend this enough. Even if you're not familiar with Neil, this is also a good introduction. It's him solo acoustic, and it's just phenomenal. And then they put out Neil Young live at the Canterbury House, or Neil Young Sugar Mountain. And if you ever heard Sugar Mountain, this is the performance where it came from. Beautiful, beautiful copy. I mean, 200 gram vinyl, Japanese pressing, I believe. This wasn't cheap, but it wasn't. I got it for about $40, brand new, and it's just unbelievable. This is Neil's first solo show since Buffalo Springfield broke up, and it's unbelievable. There's a lot of talk between songs, and it's really interesting. It's funny. It's good stuff. And so there you go, Neil Young live at Canterbury House. And then he jumps ahead to 1992. Anyway, the Harvest Moon period with Dreaming Man. And I like this so much better than Harvest for some reason. It's him alone doing the Harvest songs, and I just think it's so much better. They're great versions of the songs, and again, pressed really well. I mean, this is, he went out of order. This is Neil Young Performance Series 12. So he already knows all the ones he's going to put out. This is the 12th. So he's got 1 through, the first 3, and then he jumped to 12. So there you go. So that's pretty much it for the vinyl. I got a few 45s. I'll show real quick. A lot of them don't have the original picture sleeves, but this is Neil Young, Cinnamon Girl, backed with Only Love Can Break Your Heart. And what's cool about this 45 is that the mix on it is different than what's on the album. On this mix, Neil's voice on Cinnamon Girl is on top of Danny's, rather than the version we're used to where Danny's voice is actually on top. I think this sounds bizarre for some reason. It's just so different. So if you never heard that, maybe check it out. But yeah, it's Cinnamon Girl, same song, but they just took the vocal tracks and reversed them. There you go. I have very common 45, Heart of Gold, back with Sugar Mountain. Sugar Mountain was like the B-side of just about every Neil Young single. I actually have 2 Harvest Moon 45s. I paid for 1 and the guy sent me 2. So hey, Old King and Harvest Moon. I think these were like jukebox 45s, but so I got 2 of them for $1. They actually came with the archive set. It's Neil's first single, his first 45, which is the Squires, Mustang, and Aurora, which is his instrumental, almost surf guitar kind of things, almost like The Ventures or something. But I actually love these tracks. They're awesome. But a great bonus 45, Neil Young and the Squire.